Hey, this is Louis, the IT guy. Today we're going to be seeing Windows Sandbox. We're going to see what it is, the use cases, and how to enable it. You know that sometimes when you're testing software or programs, applications that you haven't tested before and you don't trust, you have to spin up a virtual machine, install operating systems, configure everything, and then install it and try it. Well, with Windows Sandbox, we don't have to do that anymore. It's Microsoft has this nice documentation here talking about the Windows Sandbox, and it has this definition here that tells us that Windows Sandbox is like a lightweight desktop environment that we can use to safely run applications in isolation, meaning that everything that you run in there remains sandboxed and runs separately from the host machine. Something to keep in mind is that a sandbox is temporary, and when you close it, all the software and files are deleted. You get a brand new instance of the sandbox every time you open the application. So it's important to finish your testing of what you're doing, because if you're in the middle of something and you close the Windows Sandbox and you open it again, you're not going to find everything how you left it. You're going to lose it, okay? So the prerequisites that we have for this Windows Sandbox is to have at least Windows 10 Pro Enterprise or Education, have virtualization capabilities enabled in your BIOS, and at least 4 gigs of RAM and at least 1 gigabyte of free disk space, SSD recommended, and at least 2 CPU cores. In the installation, like we mentioned, ensure that your machine is running on Windows 10 Pro or Enterprise. Enable the virtualization on the machine. If you're using a physical machine, you have to go ahead and go to your BIOS and enable it. It depends to boot up on the BIOS. It depends on the model that you're using of computer. And if you're using a VM, you can enable it with this command through PowerShell. After that, you use the search bar and you type turn on Windows features on or off. And when it loads, you go to Windows Sandbox and you enable it by clicking here. And when you see the check mark, it's going to be enabled, but it's going to require after installation to restart the PC. I already did that part. So it's really easy. You just click there and it's going to restart the PC and you're going to have it. After it's installed, you go and type Windows Sandbox on the search bar, right? And it's going to load and it's going to open your first instance of Windows Sandbox. Okay, so now we have our first instance of Windows Sandbox. It looks exactly like if it was a virtual machine that we set up, install Windows and everything. It has all the same settings of a Windows installation, like these apps, Microsoft Edge, OneDrive, etc. And now let's look at the usage cases. Let's say you want to install a program to do malware analysis for cybersecurity, etc. Or you want to install an application you want to test, but you don't trust it enough to do it on your physical environment. You use the sandbox. So for this case, we're gonna go ahead and install Putty. So how do you install it there? Well, you just right click, copy, and go here and paste the installer. Once it's pasted, you double click on it and install it. As it's the same as if it was on your physical host. You install it and you search for it, you open it, and you start doing whatever it is that you have to do. In this case, we use Putty, but you can install anything you want in there. So like I said at the beginning, make sure that before closing it, you finish with your testings and you have everything that you need. Because once you get out of it, you're going to get this message asking you if you're sure that you want to close the Windows Sandbox, because everything will be discarded and permanently lost. So let's see if that's true. Let's close it here. And let's open another one real quick and see if our putty installation is still there. So we went ahead, Windows Sandbox again. So here we have our new instance, and there's no trace of the putty installation. So just take that into consideration. It's really, really important to take note of that. Another note here I wanted to share is Windows Sandbox does not adhere to the mouse setting of the host system. So if the host system, which is your physical computer, is set to use a right-handed mouse, you should apply these settings in Windows Sandbox manually. So it's good for you to take a look at this document here in Microsoft and see, to learn more about Windows Sandbox, the architecture and the configuration. Okay, guys, if you have any questions, any comments, please leave them below. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and share with your friends and your colleagues. If you like this video, if you have any, like I said, any comments, any opinions, I'll be happy to read them. So hope you like this and it serves you well in your future testings. This is Louis, the IT guy, and I'll see you next time.